Hi, I'm David Fleming, and I want to welcome you to the YouTube channel of Disciples Ignited, where we are focused on Jesus, advancing His kingdom, and preparing His disciples. And talking about preparing disciples, I have written a series of books on discipleship. It's called the Spirit-Filled Discipleship Series. You can find it on Amazon. It's 3 books in the series. Each book is full of content from God's Word that's going to help you learn what discipleship is all about and help you grow in Jesus. So look it up on Amazon. It's going to be an excellent resource that you can use in your individual life as well as in a group setting, helping to mentor others as disciples of the Lord. So you'll find it on Amazon. Now let's get back to our study on present-day prophets and modern-day prophetic ministry. We've been studying about how God speaks to His prophets. In the Old Testament, prophets were known as prophets and or seers, and then in the New Testament, they're just known as prophets. It seems like the differentiation in the names or the titles in the Old Testament really had to do with how God spoke to them. So we have studied already that the Lord speaks to His prophets, sometimes by giving them open spiritual eyes to where they see into the spiritual realm just like we see into the physical realm. Those were by and large called seers. Then there were the prophets that the Lord raised up, and He spoke to them through visions and dreams. And then the prophets in the New Testament we see really just is a title for all those that are walking in that office of ministry that the Lord uses in prophetic ways. Now, there's another way that I haven't mentioned that the Lord speaks to His prophets, and that is in just a spiritual knowing. It's kind of like you just know that you know that you know that you know by the Spirit. We see this in operation in Jesus' life a lot. It says that He knew what was in their hearts. Oh, now was this a vision? Was it a dream? Well, the scriptures give us no indication that that was a sense, but that it was just a knowing. Now, I know that in my own life as a prophet of the Lord does give me visions. He does give me dreams, but that is not the primary way that the Lord speaks to me as a prophet. He gives me just a knowing. I know things, but just because I know them by the Spirit. I liken that to how the Lord spoke to Jesus and how the Lord spoke to Paul, how the Lord spoke to many of the different prophets that we read about, is this spiritual knowing. So just remember this, that if you are operating in the Spirit and you know that the Lord is using you in prophetic ways, and you even have a sense that the Lord has called you to be a prophet of the Lord, as a leader in God's house, a leader in the church. Well, know this, and you must know this clearly, that no matter how God speaks to you, whether it is face-to-face, whether it is riddles, whether it's visions, dreams, or whether it's a spiritual knowing, know this, you don't know it all. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're a prophet, a seer, or one who flows in the prophetic and you just know things by the Spirit. As a principle, you only know things in part. You are looking at the Lord and into the spiritual realm as through a dark, foggy glass. He only lets you see in part. Why? Well, because He wants you to seek Him more. The answer is always with Him. The answer is not fully intact in that which He has spoken to you. The answer is in Jesus. The fullness of what you seek is in Jesus. So He's never going to speak to you in ways that you just have it all under wraps. You don't need Him anymore. Oh no, He's always going to draw you closer to Him to where you're always leaning on Him for full revelation. So remember, walking in the prophetic is wonderful, but it requires for you to lean more and more on Jesus to understand it more clearly. We'll talk again tomorrow.